There's no question that the Triumph Stag has been a successful model, in particular since they sorted out all the engine problems and the quality issues from the 1970s. At a recent Silverstone event, I was quite impressed with the diversity and range of different colours of Triumph Stag, and so in this video I'm just going to have a look at the different flavours and different colours to give you an illustration of just how diverse the range has been over the years. So before we get into the detail of the specific colours themselves, I just thought I'd show you the commission plate that is to be found on the Triumph Stag, usually on the near side in UK B pillar on the passenger side, so it's normally riveted with these two holes here. This is a replacement commission plate I managed to acquire, I think, on a recent trip to the NEC, which is really great. And you can see it's broken down into a number of areas. I guess the key things of interest for us, which the first one we'll cover off on another video, is actually looking at the different varieties of commission number. And there's a number of prefix letters and numbers that you can look at there that denotes whether your car's a UK car or a US car, for example. For the purposes of this video, we're going to look at the different paint varieties, of which there are many, and I think you'll be surprised just to see how many there are, combined with the trim varieties as well. And I think there's three main different flavours of trim, meaning the seat upholstery and the interior, and that's how you identify, really, looking at your car, what the car came originally out of the factory with. So these 2 points here, the paint code and the trim code, are very, very interesting. Now, for a moment, if I just show you the commission plate that came off of our original 1973 project, you can see all the data that has been stamped in 1973 originally on the plate. The top commission number we'll cover off in another video, but in broad terms, there are different types of car. LE tends to mean America, LD tends to mean UK, and usually there's a BW letter there, which tends to mean the Borg-Warner gearbox, but again we'll cover that in more detail on another video. The principal areas we're interested in on this film are the paint codes. So here you can see this car started out with paint code 92 and with trim number 11. Okay, if we segue back then to the manual and the colour chart and codes in the book here, paint and trim coding system, you can see that there actually are 9 basic colours, and they've all been allocated a number to refer to, which is along the left hand side here. So the main numbers along here, and then there's a variety of shades of different colour across the chart, as you can see there. Just on the trim, I mentioned the trim, so I mentioned prefix. So if we go back to our original 1973 plate, let me just put that alongside. You can see trim 11, so there's no prefix, which means then our car would have been leather cloth. So that's the famous PVC style 1970s, I love it, covering that can be a little bit sweaty in the summer, but actually they're not too bad, not as I remember, back in the day anyway. If they are leather, then that would have an H in front of it, a prefix letter of H. If it was cloth, then again it would be C11. So I'm not conscious there were too many of leather and cloth. I may well be corrected, but vast majority in my knowledge are leather cloth as they came out of the factory, which is great. Now, the way to tell what trim colour it was is to look up the trim number, and so if you look for trim 11, well, the number is 11 there, no prefix, so we know it's leather cloth. Go to the chart and you'll see the number 11 is actually just here. So 11 is first shade of black. So my car came out of the factory with paint code 92, which you look down the whole chart here for 92, and it's there somewhere because I saw it later, and you can see over here my car came out of the factory as a purple magenta colour, which is really interesting, and that's a flavour or a shade of red, which is very interesting indeed, isn't it? So magenta and black trim is how this car came out of the factory. Now, these cars, as you've seen from last week's video, no doubt, with the red barrows, I think it's had about 4 or 5 different iterations. It started life as an Inca yellow, and that is still on the commission plate of that car as 94. So that is a shade of yellow, and you can see the variety of shades there as well. But it's a really good way of finding out useful information. If you're looking to buy a car, and we've had a call this week actually from a guy in Essex who's about to invest in his car. He's found the commission plate differs. In this case, his has not, in fact it has got the Borg-Warner codes on the commission number plate, meaning that that car he's looking at started out in life as an automatic with a Borg-Warner gearbox. I'm not sure if it's a BW35 or 65, and then no doubt are codes for that, but it's ended up being a manual with overdrive. So but I'm not sure that has been amended on the DVLA records. So that's something that needs to be tackled. But good just to show you, I was so shocked and surprised just how many different varieties of colours there are. Okay, black, and I think on the white down the bottom there's only 2 or 3 shades there, whereas if you look at blue, there's anything from midnight to Wedgwood, dark blue, Renoir. I've never heard of a Renoir. I guess there's some out there that have that colour. Valencia, print blue, navy blue, sapphire, mallard, right through the whole spectrum to Tahiti blue, 146, and equally some of the reds, which are very strong resaleable colours. We've mentioned magenta, which my car originally came out the factory with as 92, but you've got carmine red. I love the carmine. Pimento, not so keen on that, can look very orange, but that's a personal choice. Burgundy, signal red, really strong colour. Matador, some of these I've never heard of. Jonquil, yellow, never heard of that. And no doubt some of you out there will have cars with these colour codes on. And yeah, just thought I'd share with you how all that stacks up. This we've mentioned, paint 19/26, trim 16, denotes the vehicle was painted in white and Wedgwood and trimmed in a leather cloth coloured midnight blue. So there you can tell how these cars were built, what they came out the factory with, and it really helps, I think, to uncover some of the reality of what you're looking at, especially if you're buying a car or the car's been around for a long time. You just had to look at the Red Barrow last week to see it's had about 4 or 5 different paint colours over 50 odd years. So but these commission plates, as long as they're original and they're not remanufactured, as perhaps I showed you the replacement one I've got to get it stamped and whatever, but this looks pretty original to me just by the patina and the corrosion that's on it, and it was taken off the car, just needs to be re-riveted onto the yellow peril when we get it back, and we're up and running. Happy days. Okay guys, well I hope that helped you analyse your car and your colours and your paint and trim codes and all the rest of it. Feel free to check out this video because we've got the full Silverstone Grand Parade lap we did back a couple of years back, and ride shotgun with us just by clicking this, and we'll see you online on Arry the Stag very soon.